Hey Geektopians, what's up? It's your boy Sean-Luc, host of the Geektopians. And if you're new here to the show, we like to talk about topics and discussions that we find to be interesting and informative and share it with you. Today, I want to go back and focus on one aspect of something that I discussed at an earlier episode, anime. I'll put the link in the description below so you guys can watch it afterwards. However, for now, come with me on a journey as we talk about a controversial yet essential theme to the growth of anime, piracy. Clearly, I'm not going into the Pirates of the Caribbean territory. Nah, today we're going into digital piracy and the growth that led to the boom of anime culture. This goes beyond what we used to watch on TV when we were younger. The Dragon Ball Z's and Sailor Moons of the TV world just gave us a taste and made us craving more. The problem was, it was increasingly difficult back then to get information on other anime shows. Anime studios in Japan had such a tight hold on their commercial publication and distribution that us here in the United States and in the rest of the world had to search long and hard for newer content. There was no Funimation, there was no Crunchyroll, and the internet itself was only in its infancy. Does anyone remember those beginning AOL days? Now thinking about it now, those dial-up days were dark days indeed. So, the looming question remains, where would I go to find my fixes of anime? Well, to the local video store in my case. That is where I went to get pirated and copied versions of TV shows and movies on VHS tapes of these animes. That is when I had learned about influential animes such as Akira and Berserk. While at these stores, I copped my first look at the later seasons of Sailor Moon, not yet seen here in the United States. And I used to see the first 3 Sailor Moon movies that were only distributed in Japan at the time. It was such a relief to be able to immerse myself in these new forms of cartoons and storytelling that were never experienced before. Today has become a lot easier thanks to the boom of the internet. Anime is a growing and prosperous endeavor with new cons popping up and companies taking full advantage of that. Nostalgia aside, I do need to officially state that I am not promoting piracy at all. I'm only explaining its role for the growth of the anime industry, especially with its role in the internet. Piracy itself is a term that can be best described as the unauthorized use of another person's production, invention, or conception, especially in the infringement of a copyright. Back before 2000, online piracy alone accounted for just about 14% in viewership in Japan, but this increased to 24% in 2017, with the estimates of being around 15.2 million individuals who pirate anime per month. Around the world, these numbers are even higher just because of the limited access to the content. Here in America, we are considered lucky to have always had access to Japanese anime. However, that access is still limited to what Japan wanted to give us and not necessarily what we asked for. There were literally thousands of anime titles here in America, and the list will keep growing as USA and Japan strengthen their ties. But Japan holds about 75% of anime titles that get released every year. I finally remember having to go on YouTube and binge watching episodes of Bleach when they first came out. And it's funny, even Japan had to handle piracy. Piracy in Japan? Is that even a thing? Well, yeah, of course it is. You wouldn't think that with total access, most Japanese have to watch anime that there would still be piracy in Japan. Actually, anime piracy in Japan has actually risen from 14% to 24% as of 2018. But why the shocking rise of illegal piracy? Well, when you look at the anime or lack thereof that is available outside of Japan, we start to see the demand for anime worldwide. This increases the need for more pirates, especially those that are multilingual and can translate their animes into other languages such as English and Spanish. This country has become the hub for distribution for countries that even have stricter rules than America. In the United Kingdom, for example, there is a healthy anime community that now views their shows via regular streaming services like America does. Problem is, certain sites like Funimation are only allowed licensing rights in the UK to just above half of the titles here in America. TV in general in the UK is entirely different than here in America. They have to pay a €100 TV tax extra just to watch their cable networks in addition to paying for their monthly cable bills. Though in the UK, it is far less censorship heavy than here in America, it is much more expensive to watch TV shows in general, let alone anime. Thus, people turn to free streaming sites to watch their favorite shows. In places like Latin America, it's even harder to gain access to newly produced foreign shows, let alone anime. In the past, it was virtually little to no licensing rights allowed in places like South America, Mexico, Central America, so these people began to get the most of their anime from piracy sites such as Anime YT and Anime Mobile. These sites were run by your average fellow anime fans. They were moderated, translated, and uploaded often by just a small group of friends that wanted to offer their followers access to amazing shows. Their reign lasted for several years until very recently. Ironically, their downfall wasn't due to Japanese litigation, but from American streaming services, with Crunchyroll leading the charge, taking legal action against Latin American websites. In February 2019, Anime Mobile and several other piracy sites were officially shut down due to legal orders. Fans trying to access these sites were promptly redirected to Crunchyroll's site. Latin America's biggest piracy site, Anime YT, also went dark that same month, though it was not due to legal issues per se. The website owner, who goes by the name Theo YT, left a message for his followers, and it states that he is personally shutting down the site. He has a family and others that depend on him, and the money loss from whatever legal battle that was about to hit the site, he just couldn't afford. While some have opted to bow out gracefully in order to not be hit with the mounting legal fees, others have either ignored warning signs or brazenly posted anime on other forums. In 2018, for example, Mexican officials planned to air the premiere of the 130th episode of Dragon Ball Super in several public forums, including soccer or football stadiums, without having to pay for any licensing rights to view them. Others have actually taken a more tactical approach by uploading Dragon Ball Z and other anime titles onto porn websites in the hopes that they'll be well hidden and not removed. However, even with the shutdown of major piracy sites, there are still new ones popping up every day. It is becoming harder and harder for legal companies to pinpoint just whom they can legally sue over these sites. We all know the main reason for the crackdown on most of these piracy sites have to do with money. To produce a single episode of a well-known anime like Naruto, it costs about $500,000 and up. And if you think that's crazy, think about this. Family Guy, Simpsons, the biggest names in cartoons, cost about $900,000 and up to produce a single episode. So, when you have people going out there freely showing anime titles that can cost near $1 million to make, that show is gonna lose revenue. Not to mention the residuals that come after it. Residuals are indeed another huge factor, as it helps tell how much an anime, or any series for that matter, is worth when being licensed. Now, residuals are the amount of money a voice actor, artist, or production team can make after the episode first airs, or even continues to air on other channels, internet streaming services, or even when someone buys a DVD of the series. When you pirate that series, the production team as a whole loses a lot of residual money. And when you're an artist that makes an average of maybe $15,000 to $70,000 a year if you're lucky, but a part of that salary comes from the residuals, you're gonna end up losing a lot of money every year. Of course, Japan can also be so hesitant to license anime to certain other countries because of their currency exchange rate. Japan's yen has always been a pretty strong currency alongside the American dollar, the British pound sterling, and now the euro. So when you have a country whose currency is not as strong as the yen, Japanese anime studios end up either losing money or gaining extremely little if they try to license to other certain countries. For example, right now, 100 US dollars is equivalent to about 11,000 Japanese yen, or about, in another sense, 1,900 pesos in Mexico. But let's face it, piracy has had its strong benefits despite its illegal connotation. Yes, we should always support any product we love, whether through financial means or growth of an audience so that they can purchase the products as well. I would hate for people who work so hard at this not to get the recognition and hard work and compensation that they deserve. However, Japan still has a tight grip on all anime produced there and what it legally licenses to other countries. And money is a factor to a lot of these holdings. So, unfortunately, piracy serves as a type of free marketing outlet for anime series. Fans that normally don't have access to anime can turn to their favorite pirated site and watch the shows that they love or never even heard of. The internet has become such a huge growing tool of communication and social awareness. So, why not promote all your shows, movies, manga out there so that other people can decide for themselves what they like and dislike? Yeah, you have sites like Crunchyroll and others anime streaming services that are becoming perfect conduits for that kind of growth and, dare I say, excitement for the anime community. Let's keep it going. Let's release all the content. Let the fans decide for themselves what they want to enjoy and what they want to reject. Is that really so hard? I'm pretty sure under today's future banking that we can find a common ground for equal marketing and residual returns. But what do you think? Is there any hope? Are we still going to have to hide our VPNs once again just to watch our favorite shows? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, I'm Sharmu, and I'll see y'all again soon.